Hello, everyone. I should say good morning or good afternoon, depending on your time zone. So I will just overall archingly say good day. Thank you for joining us for our first PVH meeting of 2022. I hope all of you have had a very lovely holiday season and a welcome break. I know I did. Just got back from Mexico last week and already knee deep in snow and 15-degree temperatures here back in Michigan. So longingly thinking of those lovely days that were spent by the water. So I hope you had a good time on your break with your family and friends as well. Thank you again for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get to start. We want to make sure that we use the most that we can in our hour that we have. So this is our PVH Academic Stakeholders Workshop for January 6th, 2022. And how many of us are going to write 21? I know I have for the last few days, and I don't know how long, like eventually I'll stop doing that, but here we are in 22. For those of you who have joined us before, my name is Jessica Butterfield, and those of you who have not, welcome. I am hopefully get to see you face to face, or at least in these meetings coming forward. I am a program manager with the National Safety Council with the Roadway Safety Practice Team, Mobility Safety with pediatric vehicular heatstroke being one of my projects that I work on. And I'm so thankful to be here with all of these like-minded people that are joining us today. One of the things I wanted to do with these meetings is just to spend a few minutes to introduce us. Not everyone has had the opportunity to meet each other, and hopefully that one day will change, but we are where we are in this Zoom world. So we'll keep continuing it like that until that changes. So last session, we did 1-minute introductions for some others that were at the beginning of the alphabet. If you're like me with the last name of Butterfield, you always knew you were going first. So you had your chance last time. And we're going to do some breakout sessions as well in this meeting. So we'll have the opportunity to get to know each other even better in those groups. But if you are joining us today and your last name starts with an F through a J, if you could just spend a minute briefly introducing yourself, a little bit about your background, what brought you to us today, and perhaps your interest in PVH, your countermeasure interests, anything else you want to share in that brief minute, just your elevator speech, or so they say. I can't see everyone who's on here. I know we have 22 people. I think I counted about 4 or 5 people who would count through the F through J. And if I have any volunteers to go first, that would be great. Don't make me call on you.
Hi, this is Maureen Johnson. Can everybody hear
Maureen.
me?
I can, thank you. Thank you for starting us off.
So again, my name's Maureen Johnson. I am a child passenger safety technician and instructor. I work at the University of Vermont Medical Center, where, like Michigan, it's wintertime. And I think I have a particular interest in this topic because I think that there's a lot of misconception about the quote type of people that have a tragedy involving a child in their care. And Vermont is actually one of the couple of states that has never had a heat stroke fatality, knock on wood, but you know, we know it can happen even in cooler locations. And I would like to hear how others are approaching the issue and learn from them and contribute my own ideas.
Thank you so much, Maureen. I think one of the things I saw with the last meeting a few months ago is that we had some conversation, some emails to myself connecting a researcher to someone that spoke up during this meeting. And that's what it's all about, to really get like-minded people connected. So thank you for joining us today. Welcome.
I can probably go next if that's all right.
Dreaded F through J. Ian, thank you.
Hi, my name is Ian Hull. I work for NHTSA in research with a primary focus in structures and restraints, and child safety is part of that. So thanks for having us.
Thanks for joining us, Ian. Stay warm there in DC. I remember those days, you guys getting stuck on 95. Is that the road that everyone's been stuck on? So stay warm and safe out there. Who else?
Well, I'm originally from Michigan, so my family at least is used to snow. So
Yeah, understood. Whole nother world out there. All right. Anyone else would like to go? Anyone else up through J?
I will go.
Cass.
Hi, I'm Cass Herring. I am the certification advisor at Safe Kids Worldwide. I am from Oklahoma, and unfortunately, Oklahoma has experienced several of these tragedies, and it's something that, like Maureen said, is when you have conversations a lot of times with people, something that people say that would never happen to me. And we're very interested in making sure that we provide the right messaging to let people know that this could happen to anyone, and to make sure that we're taking the appropriate approach and using the right messaging when we're talking to parents and caregivers. And that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Cass. Thank you for joining us. I think that's one of the things we've all talked about and thought about is that messaging has been tried. It's nothing new, but do we know if it's working? Is there something that we could change? One of the biggest barriers is getting even that person, that caregiver, to hear the message, because it could never happen to me. So thank you for joining us today, Cass. Lonnie, did I see you ready?
Yes, you did. Sorry.
No problem.
Not better looking. My name is Lonnie Hashel. I'm a retired state trooper with the Texas Highway Patrol. So heat stroke is a very familiar topic to me there. I recently retired. I now work for the National Safety Council as program manager also. So I'm one of Jessica's co-workers. Really grateful for the opportunity, and I'll echo what's been said before is people have that stereotype in their brain of that steely-eyed, dark figure with the cloak on, that it's an evil person that this happens to. And it's not. We all know that it's doctors, lawyers, it can happen to anybody. And that messaging really is key, and then getting to learn and heed that message is the other part that's difficult. So thank you for the invitation.
Thank you for joining us, Lonnie.
I'll go now. Hi, this is
Hi,
Tammy
Tammy.
Franks. Hi, I am also a senior program manager with the National Safety Council. I'm on the roadway team with Jessica and Lonnie. I do transportation safety curricula, but I'm also chair of the National Child Passenger Safety Board. So kind of wear two different hats here today, one to help support Jessica in delivering this to you. And the second thing is to, you're welcome, always. And the second thing is to make certain, as we've heard echoed here from the child passenger safety technicians, that the board is promoting the right messaging and has the resources available on the CPS board website to help bring attention to this topic.
Thank you, as always, for your support, Tammy. So happy you're here. Okay, and
hey, Jessica.
Oh,
this is
I'm
Jeanette
sorry.
Fennell.
Hi, Jeanette. We had one more.
Yeah, I think I looked at the alphabet.
Yeah, you're good.
Happy to be here with you, and just wanted to make sure everybody knows who Kids and Car Safety is. We are a national nonprofit, and we work to keep kids safe in and around motor vehicles. The way we do our work is one through data collection and research, and we have published a couple papers on this topic. We also work on public awareness and education. We work on getting policy change. It could be state laws about not leaving kids alone in cars, or Good Samaritan laws, or laws that require an alarm in daycare vans, that type of thing. Then we work in the regulatory arena, and things like rear view cameras and trunk releases in trunks, all of those type of things. And then probably one of our most important areas is the survivor advocacy program. And that's working with the parents who have, unfortunately, with no intention, had the worst day of their life when they unknowingly left a child alone in the vehicle. So we've been around for 26 years now, and we are the organization that brought the whole idea of heat stroke deaths to the national agenda, and are here to do whatever we can to try to bring an end to these and just incredible, unthinkable, heartbreaking tragedies. And with the infrastructure bill, there has been language passed that will require NHTSA to write a regulation to help prevent these tragedies using some technology.
Thank you, Jeanette. I remember meeting you back in the day. I worked at NHTSA for a decade, I guess. And we were in some meetings about back over cameras. So it's been a while. So it's good to see you again. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
All right, let's see if my computer will advance. Staying with me. Just to remind everyone that these are being recorded, and if you want to go back and view all of us in our glory, you can go to cpsboard.org/heatstroke, look down for next steps in evidence-based practice, and you can find all of these recorded. So that will be there for you. There is obviously other information available there, but I just wanted to point out where you will find these archived. We already did that. And again, just to really focus on, not only are we advancing the next steps in pediatric vehicular heat stroke, but we're all a bunch of like-minded people to gather us all together. So together, I think we're stronger. So that's why I think that these introductions, even though they eat up a little bit of our time, are so important as we get started. So thank you very much for allowing me to get that started. And today we have an outreach that came from Virgin Waters, who is an RN, MSN, and doctoral student at the UCLA School of Nursing. And she reached out to Jan Null about having some time here with us to just talk a little bit about her proposed dissertation that she has. And also, I wanted to make sure that the group knows that when we break out into our sessions, that she's just going to spend a few minutes here. She will be joining us in that breakout session too. So more continuing conversation will be allowed, and obviously contact information can be changed. So Virgin, if you are here with us, I see that you're signed in. I can give you the floor if you want to just spend a few minutes talking about your planned dissertation, which I'm very excited to hear about.
Yes, thank you. It's
welcome.
Such a pleasure to be here, and thank you, Jan, for referring me to Jessica. I really appreciate you for that. Basically, what my research is focused on is a qualitative study that is trying to look at the modifiable risk factors that lead up to pediatric vehicular heat stroke. And I guess my question coming here for you today is just my advisor and I are trying to figure out, do you think it's more beneficial to include parents who are in the high risk group of the children that are ages newborn to 4 years old that have not necessarily experienced this tragedy? But as you said, and you guys get it, and I think so many people don't get it, and I've run into this problem at the academic level. They think that it's a certain group of people. So I have one school of thought saying that they think it's more important to interview parents who have actually experienced this tragedy. And then there's this other school of thought that says, that may not be necessary. So I guess I'm just trying to find out, what do you think from your experience or knowledge of this tragic situation, what do you think is most, I guess, important, like to kind of capture the data, the qualitative data that might lead us to finding out, is messaging necessarily the best method, or are there some other things that we could be doing to reach these parents and caregivers?
Thank you, Virgin. Does anyone have any thoughts that they have already popped into their head, or should we move this into the breakout group and take it from there? I'll give everyone a second to ponder.
Hi, this is David Schwebo, University of Alabama at Birmingham. I'm glad to hear about your research, Virgin.
Yeah,
I would, as someone who supervises doctoral students at my university, I think it's going to be very hard for you to find enough people to talk to who have experienced the tragedy. So if I were on your dissertation committee, and I don't want to interfere with what happens at your university, but if I were on your committee, I would say interview parents in the high-risk group, which, as you said, is birth to age 4. And I would think about exactly what it is that we don't know. I actually think we know a fair amount already. And so I think your contribution to the field would be to come up with some novel idea, novel direction, novel perspective that you can really add to our body of knowledge. And that leads us, as you said, it leads us to prevention. I think what you're suggesting is to do something to understand the risks. And that's very important. But I would also think very much, how does this lead us to prevention? So those are just some initial thoughts I have.
Thank you so much. And that's very helpful because my advisor and I see it that way. What you said is that we need to address the parents in that high risk group, because I think it will be very difficult to actually get parents to, talk to me who have experienced that. Also, I guess to expand upon the research, I'm hoping that what will come out of this is, from the research that I've read so much so far, a lot of it has not involved healthcare providers or nurses, in the sense that, how like when you take a child for their well child exam, they will talk to the parents about SIDS, they will talk to the parents about the car seats. So what I'm hoping is that as a result of this, eventually, I may be able to get healthcare providers to include talking about pediatric vehicular heat stroke as one of those anticipatory guidance issues that comes up during those well child visits, where it becomes part of the regular, they have like a flow sheet that they use, that they check off the education. So
becomes
hoping
part of the conversation.
Exactly. If we can just get it, like you said, because this addresses all parents in that high risk group. So therefore, we're not just picking out, hey, it's only these bad people or this group of people. It becomes standard practice to bring this up, to talk about it in a preventative measure, to give parents more education about it, because I think we're missing a lot of parents.
This is Maureen Johnson. I think one other thing that your research could further is the support for what Jeanette was talking about. The engineering controls. I come from an occupational safety and health background, so I'm thinking hierarchy of controls. Behavior is lower on the list than an engineering solution to an issue. But I think that some of the resistance, aside from the other things like cost and complexity, is getting back to this. This doesn't happen to good people. This doesn't happen to good parents. And so the other thing that I would suggest, although I think it would be hard to collect those data, is can you identify people that had a near miss? That didn't have a tragedy, but
Maureen, that's exactly what I was going to suggest too.
Yeah, that something happened to break that chain of events that could have led to that tragedy. And what was that something?
Exactly. Thank you.
I think this is a really great start. Hopefully you agree, Virgin. And
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and break us off into our sessions, and keeping in mind, here I have my next slide here. Oops. that even though we're breaking off, that what's bringing us all together is really that data and that research to keep that lens in focus when we're breaking off into these groups. So we're not looking to create a new campaign at this time. We're not looking to create a new policy per se at this time, but really trying to advance our next steps and how we can lower these tragic deaths from happening and countermeasures, and using our collective backgrounds and brains. I view a lot of you as like, we've got some big brains in this group. Let's use them for collective good. And then to really look at to see what we have, what we're missing. And if we can come up with some short-term and midterm and long-term goals. Everyone loves a project, right? It's to see if we can figure out something that we can actually move forward on. So I am going to start the breakout rooms. You guys get to choose which one. And I know you told when you registered, most people chose research, but we also have communication and policy. And I think that is really important because even though we're all using the data and research lens, that some of us can focus on other parts of this issue as we tackle it. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. I've opened it for like 25 minutes. So we're going to come back and regroup. I have Tammy and Lonnie acting kind of as note takers for me, and we'll put together a summary of the groups because I know all of us won't be in all the same, so we can go over what we have found from these. So I'm going to go ahead and start this, and hopefully y'all, like, this is where it becomes interesting because you get to choose. So let's see how this works. I'm going to go ahead and start, and you should be seeing, hang on, when I start it, open all rooms. If you guys can see in your bottom where it says breakout sessions, it'll give you a choice of which group to join. So do you guys see that? Okay, go ahead and choose. If you want to change your original choice, that is fine too. This is pretty, choose your own adventure. We're all in this together, and we'll all come back and I will report out what we found. I will be joining the research group here shortly. Tammy is going to be with communications and Lonnie is going to be with policy. So I'm going to stay here until everyone's kind of bounced out, and then I will join the research group. I'll see you back here in 25 minutes. Have fun, everyone. I see you, David.
Then the children are forgotten. They can get in there on a hot summer day, and then they lock themselves in there and cannot get out, and they die.
I see we got summoned back to the main room.
Yeah, but that is another issue, and I don't know how to do that right
You don't
now.
know how to do everything, right?
I want to, but I
Let's
can't.
see if this technology worked. I see Tammy. Let's see how many people are back here.
Happy New Year, Ua. Good to see you.
Happy New Year.
Bonnie's group is back here, it looks like. Well, I hope everyone is back, crossing fingers. I pressed the button, let's see what happened. I hope everyone had as interesting a session as we did. I really thought the breakout session worked very well. And I just asked Tammy and Lonnie if they could give me like one highlight from their group, and I'll share the same from ours. And I plan on meeting with Tammy and Lonnie and doing a wrap up and trying to push this all together so we can share as a group. But I can't thank you enough for your participation. There was I didn't have to crack a bad joke at all during mine, so I was thankful for that. So the time was filled, and it was filled with meaningful conversation. So I was very happy. How about you, Tammy? How'd it go over there?
Sure. Oh, it went great. We had
group?
fun conversation or good conversation. We were in communication. So the communication group, really focused on, I think this it kind of piggybacked on what Virgin was discussing with her research. So hopefully we can look at ways of collaborating. Is really looking at educating through storytelling, and so that caregivers can relate. But again, looking at humanizing rather than demonizing, and finding ways to share the information without overwhelming the caregivers. And so, those were our starting points. I don't know that we necessarily came up with any, strategies at this point. It was a lot of open discussion, but it was a great starting point. Alan did offer to share, he has some cards that are called Not One More Drowning cards that are almost, I think they kind of look like a flashcard almost, where you flip them on sides, and there's stories from families. And he's going to share those with us to look at, as well as, maybe a potential tool eventually to help with educating caregivers.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I will meet up with you later. Mr. Hatchell, do you have anything for us?
Four pages.
Nice.
Yes.
I was only expecting 8, so that was good.
It was a great discussion. Thank you to everybody that joined me over on the policy side. A lot of discussion about messaging also, but policy wise, maybe reaching out to the International Association of Chiefs of Police, because it was discussed about the message that law enforcement puts out when they're doing their little presser at the event when the media shows up. So maybe some education to help remove some of that stigma that's out there, and maybe even getting a law enforcement representative to do that. It means more coming from someone that's wearing the same hat as you. Also discussion about, Virgin had mentioned the well care visits at the doctor's office, maybe branching out as a matter of policy. Dentist's office. Kiddos still have to go to the dentist. They got to go to the allergist, the whatever they're going to. Maybe inundate those folks as well and have that messaging there, like I said, whatever specialty clinic that the kids are going to. So another option. And another one was talking about a rating system, about safety issues. We had Cybex person come on, and thank you for that very much. Talk about the sensor safe system and how that works. So that might be an option, but there's a lot of great discussion, a lot of great ideas. And like I said, 4 pages of notes. So kudos to the team on team policy. Good job, guys.
And to the note taker. 4 notes is a lot of work. 4 pages is a lot of work.
And Jessica, we actually had a question in there. Were the breakouts recorded, part of this recorded session, or were they not?
I don't believe they were.
Okay.
That is beyond my Zoom ability. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna watch this after and see what happens.
Yeah.
But that
Sounds
is a good question. All my research showed that it wasn't a capability for all of them to be recorded at the same time. But
Gotcha.
maybe
Thanks.
pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
That could be done.
There was a lot of talk in the research, and I will put this all together, but the big thing that sticks out to me, and I give kudos to everyone in the group, but I believe it was Kristen Kingsley who said, you know, when we have this research and we have this messaging, that a lot of it focuses on the, you know, a lot of us and a lot of what's out there now focuses on it's never going to happen to me, and the people that it did unfortunately happen to. So the work of Virgin and others, and maybe what is missing is that in between those stories. And as Kristen put it, when you look at vehicle crashes, what happened for those non-crashes to not happen? So really taking a look to see what, in the terms of PVH in those near misses, what happened that made the consequence null? Like, how did they get themselves out of that? So that was a big part of one of my takeaways from our meeting, and I will put it all together. So thank you to everyone who was part of that. I have one page of very, very filled notes, so I can't beat Lonnie there, but I'll try to put that all together. And I thank you all so much. I can't wait to hear about what the other groups have said. We just have a few more moments. If anyone has a certain spotlight they want to shine on themselves on any updates that they're currently working on, please take the next few minutes to fill that. Otherwise, I will move us on and close this out. But thank you again so much for all of you to be here. It gives me sincere hope that, you know, we can make an impact on this. And I think all of us together have that same desire. So thank you so much. Anyone have a spotlight they want shined on them that they already haven't, or did this breakout sessions already do that? They're like, we're good. All right. So I just wanted to show we're probably running on an every 3-month schedule. So our next one is, let me move my screen here so I can see it, April 7th. I will try to send out that invitation sooner than later, so to get it on your calendars. And please contact me if you have any follow-up you need from this meeting. I can try to connect you to the right person. And again, thank you, Virgin, for being part of this group and sharing your research. And I think anyone new to the fold that we can bring in and be of help, and vice versa, assist them as well. We are proud to do so. Let me see if there's anything going on this chat, and I will. Oh, I got your breakout sessions. That was Mr. Null had that too. We will find out shortly. So I'm going to stop. If I can figure out how to do this. Stop recording. Yeah.